Good afternoon, you're watching Kate Mate Cooks, and today I'm making a creamy potato bake. Some people call it a potato bake, some people call it creamy potatoes, whatever you like to call it, it doesn't matter as long as you're enjoying it. So I started preparing this one before and I thought, well, maybe I should make another cooking video for my YouTube channel. So I've already got halfway started with the potatoes, but I just thought I'd come on and show you what I'm making. So I've got some little red potatoes here. These were just leftovers I had in the fridge. So I've also bought a few of these white potatoes as well. I'm using a washed potato today, but you can use the brushed potatoes. You just have to peel those. With these ones I just wash them and then I slice them up. I've got some sweet potato here, which I've peeled, and I've got bacon and I've got an onion. So the way I like to make my potatoes is I thinly slice them, do a layer of potato, a layer of sweet potato, and then a layer of potato. So I've already started layering and put a bit of cream on top. So I'm just going to show you how I slice up the potatoes to start with. Now because this sweet potato is quite large and I can get a good grip on the top, I'm just going to slice this with my mandolin without using the guard. Because it's quite pointy on top, it's kind of hard anyway to get that guard to hold onto the potato. So if you're doing the sweet potato and you're using one of these, just go really carefully. If you don't have one of these, just use a knife. Just make sure you cut them thinly. Try and keep them all the same size. So as you can see, that's very wafer thin. That's perfect. Just going to slice up a few more. And then for our potatoes, I like to cut the potato in half. And then for the potatoes you have to use this. So if you've got a big potato, you could start and you'd be alright, but you sort of think, oh yeah, I've got the hang of this, and then you might cut yourself, so please don't do that. So just got to make sure this gets a grip on your potatoes. Just take it nice and steadily at the start. Once it's got a good grip, you can go a little faster. Now any of these really thin sort of half ones you get, just throw them out. It is a bit wasteful, but they are just going to turn into mush. So we just want the full one. So that's about how thick that's coming out. That's pretty good. And you can do your potatoes in rows, so you can do a row of potato, row of sweet potato, but I like to do a layer of potato, a layer of sweet potato, a layer of potato, so that you get the different colours through the layers. So just going to do one more potato. I've done one layer of potatoes, one layer of sweet potato, and then another layer of potato. So I'm going to do another 2 layers of sweet potato and probably another 1 to 2 layers of potatoes. See how we go with this. So what I've got so far is just a bit of cream and garlic over the top. Now to make my cream, I just get some thickened cream and I add in about a teaspoon of minced garlic. Put the lid back on and give it a really good shake. So I've probably used about 3/4 of a tub there, and that's a light thickened cream. I'm also going to use some light tasty cheese, onion, and as I said, a bit of bacon. Just going to do a little bit of bacon today because we're trying to make this a little healthier. So next I'm going to cut up my onions, and I'm just going to dice the onion, and then we're going to cook it. So cooking the onion just gives it a bit of caramelization, and yeah, helps it cook far better in the oven, because just put it in raw in the oven, it will cook, but you don't want to have any crunchy bits. So what I might actually do instead of diced onion is I'm just going to do on the mandolin slices as well. So with this one, I'm going to do this one by hand, but really slowly, just to be super careful and not to cut myself. I'm probably only going to use 1/4 of this because I just like a little bit of onion flavour in there. That'll do. Right, so I'm just going to cut up some bacon as well. I'm going to cook these together. And I've got here a thin slice pan-sized rineless bacon. It says for a crispy crunch, so that should make it nice and crispy. Just going to take off, there's a little bit of fat on the end there, I'm going to cut that off. And then I'm just going to dice this bacon. So you can use any sort of bacon you like. You can leave out the bacon if you like. I'm also going to put in some chives as well. Got some fresh chives straight from the garden. I'm going to chop those up in a minute and put them into the dish. So just going to get this started. Right, so I'm going to move over there, cook the bacon and the onion, then we're going to come back here and finish this off. Can't wait to show you how it looks. Alright, so I've got my bacon and onion in the pan. Pan's nice and hot. I'm just going to cook this until we get a little bit of caramelization on the onions and the bacon. Then we're going to turn off the heat, let this cool down a little bit, and finish assembling our potato bake. So just give it a stir occasionally to make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom. I put a little bit of olive oil spray in the pan. The bacon's kind of fatty, so we don't need too much spray in the pan. And I decided while I was not recording, I felt like it needed maybe a little bit more bacon, so I've actually used 2 slices of bacon in here and just about 1/4 of an onion. So you can put more onion in it if you really like. I'm not big on onion, I just like a little bit of onion flavour. It's starting to cook, it's looking good. So just cook that for a further 2 minutes and then we can start preparing. Alright, so now that I've cooked my bacon and onions a little bit, you can see that it's started to brown. So I've just left those to cool down for a minute or so, and now we're going to continue with the preparation. So I've got a little board here and I'm going to cut up some chives. Just got some fresh chives, and I've got this little chopping thing. I don't actually know what this is called, but it's really good. Just simply go back and forwards like this, and it just roughly chops up those herbs for you. So if you've got one of these, that's great. If you don't, I recommend getting one, I love it. So now I've chopped up the chives, I'm going to put half of these onto the potatoes, and then we're going to put half of the bacon and onion, and then layer with the rest of the bacon and onion. There. Got a few more chives here I missed, I'm going to chop them up as well. Just put these back in the bowl for on top. Bring this board up here, so this container, sorry, up here so you can see what I'm up to. And we're going to next do our sweet potato. So just going to layer these again, whole row of sweet potato. And then we're going to do the potatoes. So these have started to brown a little bit. You've got to work quickly with it. I recommend just to do your potatoes right before you're going to put them in. Okay, so I forgot to put in some bacon and onion in the middle layer, so I'm just going to do that now. I've done an extra layer of the sweet potato on top of the cream and the chives. I'm just going to put a little bit of bacon on this layer here, just so that we sort of have some in the middle, just a little bit. Then we want some pepper, just a bit of fresh cracked pepper, as much or as little as you like. And then we're going to continue, so I'm going to do a layer of red potatoes. Then I'm going to keep layering with the sweet potato and finish off with a layer of each on top. So this is looking pretty good. If you have a look, got about 5 layers in there. And cook your bacon and your onion first, and then slice up your potatoes. Now I probably haven't got enough to do one more layer of each, so I'm just going to alternate between potatoes and sweet potatoes. Now these slices of potato are quite big, which is really good. So I recommend if you're making this, try and get bigger potatoes rather than small ones. Just means you won't have to cut up as many. Just put a couple more over there. So that's looking pretty good. So got a bit of both on top. And now to finish off, start with our leftover garlic cream. Just spread it over the top. And we're going to use a total of 600 ml of cream. I don't know why, but I looked at all the brands at Coles and they didn't have any 600 ml light cream, so I've had to buy just the 300 ml. I'm going to do the same, probably about 1 teaspoon of the minced garlic straight into that cream. And of course, if you've got a big one and you're not wanting to use the whole thing, don't put your garlic into the cream because you won't be able to use it for anything else. But I'm just using this for my potatoes, so I'll give that a good shake and that'll go in. So, it's looking good. I'm going to put some things on top now. Finish off with the bacon and the onion. Try and spread it out evenly. You can mix your bacon and onion in with your sauce and just pour it over the top. But I find if I do it this way, it makes it more even. And you get a bit of bacon, onions all throughout. And we're going to put the rest of our chives. Might put the chives on last on the top. I'm going to put some bacon on. Sorry, not bacon, pepper. One day I'll get the words right. And then the rest of the cream. Spread that around. Make sure all the potatoes have got a bit of cream on top. And then, one of the best parts, cheese. So I've got light cheese. Any brand of cheese will do. This is just a light tasty cheese. You can use regular cheese if you want, mozzarella, 4-cheese pizza blend, any sort of cheese. And we just want a generous sprinkling over the top. Now we don't want our cheese to burn, so I'm going to cover this with some alfoil. But first I've got to put on my chives. Just spread them around. Beautiful chives on top. You can use any herbs you like. Chives are my favourite. So that's my potato bake, ready to go. And we're going to put this into the oven. I bake it on a fan-forced oven at 160 degrees. So if your oven isn't fan-forced, you want to do it 180 degrees. Cook it for 1 hour. Take it out around the 45-minute mark, maybe even the 40-minute mark, just to take off the alfoil. That way that the cheese has a chance to crisp up and golden a little bit on top. That's just ready to go into the oven, and I'll come back and show you how it looks when it's done. See you soon. So I've just taken the potatoes out of the oven, and I'm just going to take the alfoil off. So as you can see, they're looking pretty good. Now I'm just going to go back into the oven for a further 20 minutes just to brown up that cheese on top, and then I'm going to show you how it looks when it's finished. Alright, well there you have it. My potatoes have cooked, so they're ready to serve, and you can serve this however you like. With steak, serve it with chicken, put it in the fridge, heat up the leftovers tomorrow, and it's really good leftover. Just warm it up. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Bye.